The playground at Blackwood Park was a fun place to be during the day. Kids would laugh and play on the swings and slides, and parents would sit on the benches and watch. But when the sun went down, the playground changed. It became a scary place filled with shadows and whispers. I never used to believe the stories about the playground being haunted. But one evening, when I found myself walking past it, I felt drawn to it. The air was chilly, and the playground looked different in the fading light. The swing swayed gently, and the slide seemed to gleam in the dimness. Despite feeling a little scared, I decided to go inside. As I stepped through the gate, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me. The playground felt empty and quiet, but there was an eerie atmosphere that sent shivers down my spine. I walked towards the center of the playground, trying to ignore the feeling of unease creeping over me. But then, I heard it, a child's laughter echoing through the darkness. It sounded close, but when I looked around, there was nobody there. I called out, asking if anyone was there, but there was no response. Just the sound of the wind and the rustling of leaves in the trees. I felt a knot of fear forming in my stomach as I realized that something strange was happening. Then I saw it, a figure standing at the edge of the playground. It was small and shadowy, and it seemed to be beckoning me closer. My heart raced as I stared at it, unsure of what to do. With a surge of fear, I turned and ran, the sound of my footsteps echoing off the pavement. I didn't stop until I was safely back home, the memory of the haunted playground burning in my mind. That night I lay awake in bed, unable to shake the feeling of dread that had settled over me. I tried to convince myself that it had all been my imagination, but deep down, I knew that something was wrong. The next day I tried to forget about the playground and go about my normal routine. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease that lingered in the back of my mind. As the days passed, I found myself drawn back to the playground, unable to resist the pull of its mysterious allure. Each time I went, I heard the same child's laughter and saw the same shadowy figure standing at the edge of the playground, watching me with silent eyes. I tried to tell myself that it was just a trick of the light or a figment of my imagination, but deep down, I knew that something sinister was happening. The playground was haunted, and whatever lurked within its shadows was trying to draw me in. Determined to uncover the truth, I began to research the history of Blackwood Park and the playground. I scoured old newspapers and spoke to locals who had lived in the area for years, hoping to find some clue to the playground's dark past. What I discovered sent chills down my spine. Years ago, the playground had been the site of a tragic accident. A young child had fallen from the top of the slide and died from their injuries. Ever since that day, people had reported strange happenings at the playground, including sightings of a shadowy figure that matched the description of the one I had seen. Armed with this newfound knowledge, I returned to the playground, determined to confront whatever haunted its desolate halls. As I stepped through the gate, the air felt heavy with the weight of unseen eyes watching me, and I knew that I was not alone. I called out, demanding to know who was there and what they wanted. But there was no response, just the sound of my own voice echoing through the empty playground. With a sense of dread, I made my way towards the slide, the memory of the child's laughter echoing in my ears. As I reached the top, I felt a cold chill run down my spine, and I knew that I was not alone. With a trembling hand, I reached out and touched the slide, the metal cold beneath my fingers. And then, as if in response to my touch, the slide began to shimmer and warp, its surface rippling like water. I stumbled back in horror as the slide transformed before my eyes, revealing a swirling vortex of darkness that seemed to stretch on endlessly into the abyss. Shadows danced in the depths, whispering secrets that sent shivers down my spine. I knew then that the playground was not haunted by a ghost, but by something far more sinister. A creature from the depths of the abyss, hungry for souls to devour. With a surge of fear, I turned and ran, the sound of my footsteps echoing off the pavement as I fled from the playground. But no matter how fast I ran, it felt like the darkness was closing in around me, its icy fingers grasping at my heels. As I reached the safety of my own home, I collapsed onto the floor, gasping for breath and shaking with fear. The memory of the haunted playground burned in my mind, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked just beyond the edge of our reality. And though I knew that I had escaped with my life, I couldn't shake the feeling that the shadows of the playground were still watching, waiting for the cover of night to claim their next victim.